Morning, this is Gracie Opulence, and I'm all about eccentric and opulent lifestyle, and you can find out a lot more about me on gracieopulenta.com. This is the second video on Roberta Camerino. Who was she? Born in 1920 in Venice to a Jewish family, and just before the war started, she fled Venice to Switzerland, and when she came back, Italy had to be rebuilt, and she had a passion for the gondola in Venice, which is understandable, and she decided to make what I call the gondola bag. So everything that you're looking here in this bag, and this is I bet one of her first, is exactly leather from the gondola and the same hardware from the gondola. I think it's very, very clever. And today's video is about how do you spot a Roberta Camerino bag compared to one that's not, because both are very similar. She pioneered the woven leather technique. Can you see that? Let me grab the third bag. So the woven leather technique on the bags were pioneered by Roberta Camerino. The name Camerino, the surname after her husband, and Roberta was after the song and film Smoke in Your Eyes. It was the last dance that she did before she fled to Switzerland for safety. Her handbags, I call them the gondola bags, because they're made exactly the same technique and leather and hardware as a Venetian gondola. And she really helped save the artisans of Italy after the Second World War. A beautiful story. So how do you spot a real Roberta Camerino vintage bag compared to a fake one? She was very good friends with Coco Chanel, and she'd often go to Coco Chanel and say, crying, "They're copying my work, they're copying my work." And Coco Chanel said, "You should stop crying when they stop copying you." What a beautiful philosophy to have. So, the first thing with Roberta Camerino, I don't know, I should get my other phone. Hold on, I'm going to get my other phone so you can see the light. You'll be able to, it will be made in Italy, Roberta Camerino. It will always be just stamped in there. One moment. So the first way that you'll identify her work, because it was copied by many, is, this is tricky because I've got two phones, but you'll see it. Hold on, let me, I'm sorry for the, okay, one sec. I'm going this way. So I'm going to put this phone here and hopefully you can see it. Man, well, let's just get a real close look to her work. Look at the leather on this. I just waxed it with leather wax. Make sure you get ones for bags. So this bag has never been, it needed it. You should be waxing your bags or any leather every 6 months. Now, I also, can you say, I used vinegar to polish the copper, and it was really, really dirty, but I think I got a long way to go, because I'm hoping it will end up looking like that. Isn't that just adorable? She's the finest of hardware, copper materials for the bags, like the gondola. I mean, this bag here, doesn't it remind you of a Venetian gondola? Google it and you'll see. Or go on gracieopulanza.com. During the pandemic, I was 4 months in Venice. I can vouch for that. The woven technique, look at that. Isn't that just divine? And the brand who claim it today, that copied her, Bottega Veneta, they're famous for it. But it was Roberta Di Camerino that pioneered the woven leather technique. Look, you can see it here. Look at the craftsmanship. This, I would say, and I bought this in Venice. It's how I discovered her. She just obviously was speaking to me, saying, Gracie, get my bags back in publicity. Share my heart and soul of the passion I have for artisans like myself. Never heard of her. She had an amazing museum in Venice. Her stupid family, I can only say stupid, disgraceful lot, took the museum away and just dispersed her bags all over the world. And her bags were really made famous by Grace Kelly of Monaco and Jackie Kennedy. In fact, that's where the Americans really loved and commissioned and appreciated Roberta's work. Grace Kelly loved her bags that were made out of velvet material. Now, after the war, understandably, everything was rare. So, if we're talking about sustainability, upcycling, Roberta was that person. And Grace Kelly loved it, and it's really where it became famous for. Even Coco Chanel had a lot of respect. So, I'm not spelling it out, but you can see that with Roberta Camerino, the vintage bag, the original, this is a technique that you need to look out for. This is a technique, woven leather. I'll show you with this bag. She'll always have a stamp in gold with her name on it. One moment. And the materials will be exactly used from the gondola. Where are we? Why do you make it so difficult, Roberta? But can you see? There it is. Some very rare didn't have it, but that's what you got to look for. And it's always in gold. Made in Italy by Roberta Di Camerino. That will always be inside on a pocket. You see the little pocket for the mirror? Every bag of hers will have this. And this one has it as well, but it's just so hard to see. So if someone says, oh, this one, I beg your pardon, is done, what colour is it? Oh, it's done in green, maybe each era. But look, it's there. Can you sort of see it? Probably not, but it's in there, right? Now, so how do you spot a Roberta Camerino original vintage bag? The leather will be the same as a gondola. There will be woven leather as the technique. She pioneered that. The clasp, the hardware. Now this is in, they had better quality ones in Venice, but I went for this because I just loved the inside of this bag. I loved how old it was. Probably this is one of her first bags, which is amazing. Look, the hardware, it's always exposed, right? It's exposed. It'll always look like this. And she has an art of making it not easy to open the bag. There's a technique to it. So in this case, you have to pull those together and out for this bag to open. And this one, goodness me, I tell you, I couldn't figure it out, and I've done this. It's okay. I'm going to take it. We're in Tuscany. Going to take it and just get it restored, glued back together. This just beautiful. This, she used material as well. So this is cotton fabric. This isn't leather, but this is a technique. Look at the work in that technique. And then Bottega Veneta copied. Look at the work in the bag and the technique. This is how you're going to spot the bag. You'll just be able to see it. You can see the vintage look. You can see the originality. Right. Let's flip it the other side. Handcrafted. Started this. I call it the gondola bag. I don't know why she didn't call it the gondola bag, because that's what it is. Same technique as if they use in the gondolas. What a clever lady. And she became so popular and famous. You know, the artisans were very, very busy. Look at the quality of this bag. I found this bag at the Lucca market. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I thought I had to get it. It is divine. And this one is when Roberta, I was in Venice, no one in Venice, and Roberta Camerino said to me, which is actually not her name, by the way, Gracie, put my bags, commission them, put them out there, let everyone know that they are beautiful, they are valuable. The tragic thing is a Chinese company has bought the brand name. I'm kicking myself. Can I tell you why? Because I was gonna buy it, and they're rubbish. I can't film it in the shop here in Lucca because they know I'm just appalled. I'll try it, and they have adopted the Grace Kelly and the Jackie Kennedy cloth ones, and just disgusting. Like, horrendous. But they've bought the name and they can use a strap line. What Coco Chanel said to her, stop crying when they stop copying you. But aren't they gorgeous? So this is how you spot it, by the woven technique of the leather. Has to be the same materials used from a gondola. And it'll always have, well, in this bag it's gold. It'll have, can you see it? It'll always have exact words, made in Italy by Roberta Di Camerino. That's all it'll say, nothing more. And always where the pocket, where you can, I would have assumed there was a mirror in there. Now, look at this, cheeky. I found this also at the Lucca market, and I went, oh, it's a Roberta Di Camerino, another one. And I paid a fraction of the price, and I kept looking at it and kept looking at it. Can you see the difference? So a lot of people did copy her, but clever. We're in Italy. Of course, they would have been using exactly the same materials. Look, it has to be the same materials as the gondola, but right? It did have, right, hold on. But look, there's nothing to say that this is her bag. And what she was famous for, and Prada copied it, is, the metal frame. She never covered the metal frame. So you see how the metal here is covered in leather? That's not what she's about. But she is about unique clasps. So just to give you a comparison, you see? The hardware's always exposed. That's the beauty. These bags are a work of art, where this one isn't. But I only paid, I think, €20 for this. I still grabbed it because I thought it was a great replica. It can't be hers. There were some that never put her name on, but why wouldn't she? So let's have a look at this. Look at that. copying the technique. And you can see that this is a lot. I mean, she did go 50s, 60s. You know, she did do a lot more modern ones. But why isn't... Look at this. Can you see? Wait, I'll keep... And that's there. Same technique. Not denying it. She was copied. But, and rightly so, I think it's brilliant that in a way people did. But they couldn't put her name on it. And you can see... Well, you can see the age difference. I am... Whoever I bought it from couldn't tell me, but this is one of the originals. That's why I bought it. I thought, this has got to be her first work after the war, 1950s. I mean, imagine. It has to be, I can tell. Because in the end, it was so hard to source this hardware. So hard to source the leather. The artisan skills were there. That's why she did it. The gondola bag, I call it. And then, hold on, look at the clever again. I'm not denying it feels exactly the same. But if it hasn't got her stamp on it, which this one doesn't, look how clever is this. And can I tell you something else? The originals don't open that easy. That's the beauty, that's the skill, that's the talent of Roberta Di Camerino. This opens too easy. I tell you, I've had, and they don't open like this. It's a different technique. Still beautiful. I mean, look at this bag. The leather. There's no denying. This is an excellent replica. It's an excellent replica. It's exactly the same leather of the gondola as well. No denying that. The same technique. But why would you cover the hardware? The hardware is all about. The hardware is exposed. That's the beauty. These are bags of art. A gondola is engineering work. The beauty of being in a gondola is just seeing the craftsmanship of the Italians. Right? This is all craftsmanship. Look at that. Right, I'll show you. What again? Can you see? Hold on. I know I should get someone to help me with this, but I always do my videos very early. Can you see that? You can see the difference. I'll just put it here. Look at the leather is exactly the same, but this leather here, I just waxed it last night. This leather has soaked up. I need to go and buy more because it's never been done. You know, we're looking at 1950s bag. It's 2023. What are we looking at? Do your maths. 73 years old. That's what this. And look. Now, when I polished this up, I was hoping it would have the same gold, but it's a different material, and comparing the two, this could have been done in the 60s or somewhat the 70s. And isn't that gorgeous? I just... Sorry. I want to... Let me be a bit more clever about this. Hold on. Why didn't I think of this before? That is actually a pencil, and Venice is famous for this. That they use paint. They paint and then they put it around the pencil. It's really cool. You'll see that in Venice when you're there. In fact, look. Can you see the mechanisms? It's so clever. It's beautiful. That's how you also can tell that it's a Roberta Di Camerino bag. Look at that. And can we... Oh no, it's on the other side. And you pull these... So her bags won't be easy to open. There's an engineering science behind it. And of course there is. Because basically the men together with her were designing and wanted to replicate the gondola I'm calling the gondola bags. You can tell by the woven leather, she pioneered that as well. And then Bottega Veneta copied that. So the original technique is this. That's a leather woven handle. Look at this. Same colours of the gondola. Beautiful. You know, gondola can be up to €300,000 to make. And then we've got this. The zips are of high quality. Okay, so this is how you can spot the frame, which is now copied by Prada, will be exposed metal. Now, looking at it, can you see that gold? I'm sure this, I mean, I tried to polish it. I'm going to have to get someone else with a lot more skill. I mean, if that bag becomes that, I will be so happy because it'll look stunning. I'm sure. Because look, there's another Roberta. Can you see her name there? It'll always say made in Italy by Roberta. And then the third sentence, Di Camerino. So there'll be 3 made in Italy by Roberta and then Camerino. And it's like a gold, actually it is a gold stamp. This has just gone a little bit discoloured because of its age. So it'll always be in gold. It'll be in 3 separate lines. The first line will say made in Italy. The second will be by Roberta. And then the third, Di Camerino. That's how you can tell it's original. Her clasps are not easy. Her bags will not be easy to open. There's an engineering science behind it because that would have been done by the men, and because they're building the gondolas, clever. The leather is gondola leather. The woven leather technique is always in her work. This is it's a cotton, but a very high-end cotton. I've got to be careful because I'm convinced when people are going to be watching this video that I would definitely say Fendi. I've seen it actually in the Fendi's latest work of bags. I need to go in Fendi and look at her bag again. Have copied this. It just reminds me I was in Milano 3 weeks ago and I went, why is that triggering my memory? And then this is the copied Roberta. Very easy to open. That's straight away a message is not original. It doesn't have the gold stamp, made in Italy, then by Roberta, then Di Camerino. It doesn't have that. But, and this, for whatever reason, there's not a lot on her. In fact, if you go on Google, it's all my stuff. So it'd be amazing. She never covered her bags like this. You know, the clasp? They were always exposed. Why wouldn't you expose it? Because of the engineering. And here, see the 2 sides here? That's how you open it. You pull it together. Very, very clever. So these are artwork. Walking around like she was a Picasso. She was Michelangelo. She was Leonardo. She created these as pure signature limited pieces, one of a kind, that you would, just like Jackie Kennedy, just like Grace Kelly from Monaco, they were just there to not be used every day. They were an elite accessory. And I tell you, especially when I walk around with this one, I don't have anything in it. I just carry it because it's an additional to my clothing. And that's a Venice pencil. If you go to Venice, you'll see how these pencils, all handmade, wooden, gorgeous to sketch and write in. I use it for my diary. And there's the fabric. I'm in Italy, I'm in Tuscany. I'm going to ask how I can restore this bag to give it, because can you see the difference of quality? This is, you can see instantly, this has to be one of her first bags in 1950s after the war, which is just why I got it. It's just absolutely stunning. Look at the handle. You can tell by the age of the bag. Isn't that beautiful? Look at, she commissioned, the artisans in Venice were just sitting around. Italy had to be rebuilt, and she thought, and she came up with the idea when she was in Switzerland escaping the war. Came from a Jewish family, so clearly why she escaped Venice, and ached and ached and ached for Venice. I ache for Venice. I need to go back to Venice. I was there for 4 months. Look at the quality of that leather. I just waxed it, soaked it up like a dry desert. Need to go and buy some more. And look at that. Okay, this, yep. I mean, the beauty of this is just that I can see how it was put together. Gosh, you know, dare I say it, I might get an artisan to replicate this bag, all in memory of Roberta. Why wouldn't I? I'm in the land of leather. And the woven leather technique was copied by Bottega Veneta. Hold on. So this is, it took 7 weeks to make. Look at the work on this. But this is exactly the Roberta Camerino technique. This is exactly the technique that, get my little cable out of the way. Look, there's my Tom Ford Gucci. So, love this bag. So you can thank Roberta Camerino. And this bag was made in 2019, and I got it because I instantly recognised. Now this is just a local artisans here in Tuscany. I think I paid an absolute steal for the quality of this bag. 7 weeks to make. And olive green is the colour of 2023. So this is the fake, or the copied bag, is Coco Chanel. So Roberta would, Juliana was her name, she'd go to Coco Chanel crying. Stop crying, she said, when they stop copying you. Her hardware, which is copied by Prada now, is always exposed. Her bags are not easily to open. That's the engineering science. And the woven leather technique was pioneered by her. The leather is from the gondola, and then there'll always be a gold stamp, and it'll say made in Italy first, then the next line Roberta on her own, and then the third line Di Camerino. So I hope, well, I know that's how you spot the real thing. If you do see this, you shouldn't be paying a lot for it, and I'd still buy it, because this walks all over any handbag today that you'll find. And I think this was done probably 1970s. It doesn't have a handle. I won't tell a lie. I think it did, and it was horrible, so I gave it away. But what you can do, which I do often, is I've got gorgeous silver handles. I just add that, or a gold one. Just come up. I'm in Italy. We'll make something. The reason I did that, I can never sell this as original, and I'll come up with, probably get someone to woven the leather like this, because I'm in Tuscany, the land of leather, the world of leather, and say, look. Or I might get them, because that's the beauty of what I have, say, look, why don't we copy this of Roberta and put it on this. I think that's what I'll do. That makes absolute perfect sense. And this bag you're looking at is her original, one of the first after the war, 1950s, 100%. I can tell. Look at the woven technique. This is material. The lady in the shop was trying to tell me it was leather, but I'm like, unless, I don't have to guess here. I'm going to take it to Experts Leather in here, and we'll do another video and say, what is this? I know that's leather. What has she used here? Beautiful. Her name was bought by a Chinese company. They're out in stores now. They're horrific. Don't even go there. Look for the original. And you'll find them in Italy a lot. And what's beautiful, this one I found in Venice. Gorgeous vintage shop. And the others were of the velvet that she upcycled after the war. But I don't know. I'm a leather person. And this, then I found here in Lucca last year. Love it. This is just divine. I think this is definitely 1950s. This will be a lot later, 60s, 70s. I'm guessing, again, not a lot on her. And then this is the copies that are lurking around. But beautiful. Definitely, you can see the same technique. A lot more modern. And I would say, you know, I could commission a Gracie Opulence one in memory of Roberta Di Camerino, inspired by her. That's not disrespecting her at all. Then what would you wear it with? Well, of course, because I'm a vintage, why wouldn't we team her with vintage Yves Saint Laurent 1980s 22 carat gold plated earrings? Again, vintage. And all my wardrobe for the last 3 years has just been vintage pieces. Look at the synergies of that. When Yves Saint Laurent was at its prime and its best, 22 karat gold plated 1980s. I've got lots of different. Look at that. History. Vintage. I'm not a trend follower. I'm a trendsetter. Get into the vintage more and more. It is just priceless quality. And I'm dared to say what I'm seeing at the luxury sector, Fendi included. It's nice work, but it's nothing. It's nothing on these pieces. And the great thing is about individual style that Iris Apfel is about. You can't buy it. You got to create it, and that's what I am. Put in Fendi, you'll see a beautiful Fendi fur vintage coat. Put in Roberta Di Camerino in my blog. Support me. If you've got a Roberta Di Camerino bag, drop me a social media message or email. Look at that. Welcome to vintage. I've got a vintage section on Gracie Opulenta. In fact, I'm so vintaged that there'll be a dedicated website coming very, very soon. Leave your comments. What do you think? Gondola bags, pioneered for the rest of the Italian brands to copy. And we'll leave you at this. Giuliana went to Coco Chanel and cried, they're copying me. And Coco Chanel said, stop crying when they stop copying you. Remember, there's only one Roberta Di Camerino. She pioneered, she saved the artisans of Venice after the war. No one can ever take away your history.